Hey guys, Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 21 of the Great Yard Cleanup, or the Great Cleanup. Firstly, an update. For those of you that didn't see the post on the community page, on my community tab or my Facebook group, the auction happened. It's a bit detailed, but basically it meant it was passed in, there was no successful bidder, and it's been listed now on the market at $640,000. I won't go into the price, I've talked about that enough. There's been a couple of quick inspections since then. Some local people from a nearby town, and I don't know the other couple, but I think they had local connections. So nothing's eventuated, it's sitting on the market. I would expect that it's going to stay on the market for some time at that price. I don't know what the actual reserve is, but I think I've got a lot more time now. And the good thing is that it hasn't sold, so every day it hasn't sold is a day bonus I get for cleaning up. Assuming it's going to be 90-day settlement, that gives me at least 3 months. Right, so this episode, we'll do a bit of a walk around and I'll talk about a few things I'm going to do. And we'll have a chat to Coco, she's down here. So come along for the ride, hope you enjoy this episode. Thanks for all your feedback, you seem to love these cleanup series. Every one of them's a mystery, even to me, it just develops. So come along for the ride. Okay, I think in this episode I want to be more organised rather than just doing random cleanup bits all over the place. It obviously does depend on the weather a bit, but before it gets too cold I need to get the yard more organised. 3 months for settlement takes us right through winter, and there might be some of that time where I can't actually do much out here. So we'll have a look at it. I'm in the back lane at the moment. I've started moving some other stuff from around the yard that's just pressing steel, and it's going to sit here until probably the last section of the cleanup, because it's something that's not enormous value and I could ditch the whole lot quickly if I needed to, just out of the transfer station, or call a local scrappy and give it to him. So all this fence is going to just be all the pressing steel, completely sorted, nothing to do except load it up and take it away. And if I give it to a local scrappy, he'll do that for me. So to my mind, that's really nicely organised. I don't have to worry about it. This large fan thing that many of you would have noticed in various videos, I was always going to do a wind-powered project on it. I'm not going to have time. I've got to be serious about this. I'm going to take it out on this trolley that I did, and I did a video on getting this trolley operational and fixing it up. I'm going to take that round to the front and chain it up. I don't know if I'm quite ready to sell the trolley yet. That will be an easy seller whenever I need to. But as for this large fan, it's the bearing still actually spins nicely on top. If it was mounted up the other way, it would certainly catch the wind very well. Good thing about these radial style fans is that they catch the wind from any direction, rather than your fan blade type where it has to be altered to catch the wind. Hence, windmills always have a tail on them to direct the fan into the wind. So someone should have a use for that. I think I might put $50 on it and see what happens. It'll be chained up out the front, so no drama if it sits there for a while. On this side we have a little bit more pressing steel. Now that looks a stainless steel sink, but it's a magnetic one, and sometimes they do become magnetic all over. Sometimes they become magnetic just where it's been cold formed, and if the most of the sink is non-magnetic, the yards will buy it as good stainless. This one is magnetic all over, so I'm not sure why the difference. It's obviously a different grade of stainless, but I've talked about that before. Rather than trying to get a slightly better price, I'll just send it in with pressing. I've got some barrels here with various aluminium things in them. That's some lengths of extruded. These washing machine tubs are all non-magnetic stainless. Non-magnetic, I think I need another coffee. So I'm putting, catch a bit of water. I'm putting other non-magnetic stainless in those, and I'll load them up at some stage. Air conditioners that still have the gas in them, not allowed to touch them. I don't want to release the gas into the atmosphere, but I believe the yards will take them as they are. A bit more aluminium in some of these tubs, and then we come to some awkward, messy pressing steel. Now, I did a video recently on these washing machines, and I think it was only a couple of videos ago. I'll put a link up. I've rescued the motors out of them and some of the wiring, but I'm not going to muck around with these and try and load them up and take them to Melbourne. I'm just going to run these out to the transfer station today. It'll clean up a large part of this lane and give me a bit of room to work. We talked about the efficiency of scrapping those things in that last video on them, and yeah, I'm happy to make the decision to just take them out the transfer station here. I could try and take them to Melbourne, but as you can see with that one, it has a large concrete block on it. There's a bit of plastic in some of them. I think the yards have a separate price for white goods, and I'm not going to risk lugging them down for a very low price, so they're just going out to the transfer station to clear them up. Next load to the scrapyard, we'll be doing some more heavy steel, which will empty a lot of these little drums here, and I can start unpacking more of the 44s. So that's where I'm up to in this episode. I'm going to try and just get this lane a bit more organised. The roofing in the middle there, I'm still undecided if I have a use for it at home or not. I do want to build my shed extension, but given that everything's happened this year, I may actually get a local builder to do it, because I could certainly use the storage at the moment. And given that I've got at least 3 months here, if I can get someone to get onto the job quickly, it'll give me somewhere to take the good stuff that I'm keeping, including some vintage computer gear in the old van there. You probably can't see it with your inflections. I'm going to need to sell the old van. I might throw it on eBay, or there's a local guy, Michael, that said he might be interested. So I need to empty that, and I also need to then drag it out of the lane so it's, you know, accessible for someone to take it away. So the vintage computer gear in there, and I've got a lot more in my container, plus a lot of other good treasures that I've saved over the years. If I get my shed extension done at home by someone else to free me up to work here, it'll give me somewhere to store the stuff without paying storage fees. Coco's dug up a bone that she's buried and reburied and dug up and reburied numerous times. Is that tasty? And I don't know, maybe they just need to go a little bit rotten before they're tasty. If any of you understand a dog's taste buds, let me know. I've spread a few tarps and things out over here just to keep the weeds down. I did spray a while back, but I don't really want to spray too much, as I've talked about. So, what else? Now, our last scrap run was a whole lot of wire. I've already started stacking up the wire again, and you're getting another view of the yard as I walk through it. A lot of you are saying that yes, it is starting to open up and you're doing a good job, so that's appreciated. Some days I'll look here and think, oh my God, I'm not getting anywhere. And other days I'm actually thinking, yeah, it is starting to open up nicely. This trolley was down the back under some weeds. I think someone's converted a normal bag trolley or sack trolley into a 3-wheel trolley, I think for mounting an outboard motor on, maybe for testing. It's no good to me. I'm going to put that out the front. We might get $30 for that. I've cleaned up the old washing machine that had broken the top of that little glass house. Once I get the yard more accessible, I'll probably give that away or put $50 on it or something. I don't know. We'll probably give it away. It'll be a local that gets it. So a bit more rubbish to go through here to feed into my bins. I don't want to do any loads to the transfer station for rubbish, apart from having to pay for it. It's a bit of a challenge to myself that nothing will go to the tip other than in my normal wheelie bins and other for recycling. Here's some more electric wire that I've dragged out that I'll be packing into bins now that I've got some of these bins free after my trip. Just yesterday it was. And that frees up an area over here where a lot of those crates were stacked. There's more on the other side, and I can get to those tubs of copper now. So we're starting to get some real action into this area. I'm looking forward to getting into that shed that I've hinted at a few times. And someone asked about the bottles on the roof. Some of those have been up there for about 5 or 6 years, and I'll talk about those when I eventually get back to my antique bottle series. Some will go purple in the sun. It's due to a chemical in the glass and the UV rays from the sun, and it makes them much more attractive, so that's why they're up there. It wasn't just a convenient place to put them. So, okay, I better get to work. We'll probably get the ute and trail around the back. There's all the empty milk crates from the scrap trip. I've got to load up this e-waste as well. So I think we'll load up those big old washing machines in the trailer. We'll put the e-waste in the ute and we'll run them out tomorrow morning. Just loading up these washing machines on the trailer now. I don't have my ramp. It's actually with the van. And in case you're wondering how I'm getting them on, these things weigh, I think we weighed them at 90, but then I've taken the electric motors out, except that one. I gave up on that one because the bolts were so rusted that they'd actually changed sizes, and the 7/16 socket wouldn't actually fit them. Very awkward to get in there. I couldn't get there with the grinder, so I wasn't going to muck around for an hour just for a $10 motor when I don't have the time. So I didn't give up. I acknowledged that it wasn't an efficient practice, and I made a sensible, logical decision to move on. So that motor's going with the machine. So that one probably still weighs around about 90 kilos. So I'll show you how I get them on the trailer on my own. I can't lift 90 kilos. I would struggle to lift 50 these days, but we should be able to get this on. So here we go. I'll show you how I'm loading it up. It's manageable if you think about it. Now what I've done is I've put the heavier side of the machine away from the trolley. That's the side with the concrete block. And if I get the back feet, or what's left of the feet, they're a bit rusted away, onto the end of the trailer, then forget about the trolley, leave it drop away and just pivot. And it's so much easier. You're not having to actually lift anything. For someone like myself who's got dodgy shoulders and an achy back, and or have already had a hip replacement, it's actually quite easy to load. Here's another one with a slightly different angle. So all I need to do is just get the back feet, or what's left of them. You've got to be careful it doesn't slip off, and then just push up, let the trolley drop away, and then just walk it onto the trailer. It's another reason why I didn't want to take these to Melbourne, because the bottom feet are quite sharp and jagged. They're very dirty. I didn't want to put them in the back of the van and ruin the floor. So they're right to go. Okay guys, it's the next day. We took the stuff out of the transfer station. I was going to film out there to show you a bit more about what happens with the recycling side of things out there. But the guy who runs the show wasn't overly keen, and he said you probably should get permission from the council, which I'll do, and I'll give you a look around the transfer station next chance I get, assuming it's okay. Now, I'll finish this video up here, make it a little bit shorter. They're going to come much faster now, I think. I've really got to get things happening, and I've got the back lane a bit more organised. I'll quickly show you that. I'm much happier with this stuff sorted out down here, and I'm going to start loading these small drums of heavy melt steel probably tomorrow. I want to start doing a load of that. I'll probably do another scrap run next week. But as I said at the start of this video, all that stuff down that side is all organised, ready to go. I could only have to make a phone call and someone will come and pick that up if I don't take it to Melbourne. I've set up some empty drums here to stack full of aluminium saucepans and various other domestic aluminium things. So I've noted the weight of each drum on there, so I've got a rough idea of what weight I put in them. So they're nice and neat there, and when the time comes I'll probably just sell those drums, and the rest of this stuff's much more organised. So we'll finish up here. Quickly, a look at the notepad. I'll keep you updated on the scrap that leaves this yard, both in the scrap videos and the yard update videos. And you can see there we've taken nearly 8.5 tonne out of the yard, and that's just scrap metal to Melbourne. That's not the like the washing machines to the transfer station for scrap, or the e-waste, or the stuff I sell through the shop, or the pallets I give away. So there's a fair bit of tonnage leaving the yard. Just over $13,000 in scrap metal to Melbourne at this stage. We'll do another run next week. So thanks again for following along, guys. I'm glad you're enjoying the journey. If you're new to the channel, and someone asked me the other day to do maybe a before and after photo of areas I cleaned up, go back on the playlist to the Great Backyard Cleanup and have a look at episode 1 where I do a walk around. I think that was back in 2019, and I think after watching that you will agree that I have got somewhere. The yard is looking a lot better, but of course back then I didn't realise the place was going to be sold, although probably if I had thought about it eventually it was going to happen. But it is reality now, so we're up the tempo a bit. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.